Good afternoon, and welcome to another pernicious episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here's that caricature and poseur, Voice of Doom. Ni hao, Pengyamin. And Mr. Announcer, I don't know if you're starting to get on that edge. Let's see, what do I have here today? 我们将归回美国，上网上归回美国。And that's my theme for today. I'm going to talk about China because I've been meaning to do that for a while. And there's a lot going on, and I think we should be concerned. So, what's the first thing that's going on? Well, gray zone warfare, they call it. It's their new policy. And it's really weird because I was talking about generational theory in my last episode or two, and the fact that we're in the fourth turning and how it seems like there's a lot of parallels between what's happening now and what happened in the late 30s. And it's like I'm watching the news and they're like talking about Petri dish is going to have a virtual meeting with Xi, happiness, and they're going to discuss climate change and the origins of COVID. So they're going to get down to the bottom of that. That's suspicious in itself, and I will go into more detail about why China taking an interest in climate change could spell out nothing but doom for us. It's very simple. Now, gray zone warfare is somewhat similar to what Schicklgruber did when he was kind of grabbing bits and pieces of territory here and there, kind of without being challenged. He took the Sudetenland, he took the Rhineland, which was theirs already, and you see how when he took the Rhineland, nobody lifted a finger because it was already Germany, and he just went into a no warfare zone, a whatever, it was a buffer zone. And nobody did anything. Now, Xi, happiness, thinks that Taiwan is their Rhineland. So I don't even think they're even worrying about attacking. I think they just want to take it, and they're going to do it by this gray zone warfare. And that's bits and pieces. And I was watching, and it was like, Xi is going to, invite Petri dish to the Winter Olympics in Beijing. And it's like, I forgot all about that because it's too absurd to think about. It's exactly like what happened in 1936, only worse, much worse, because we just knew that Schickel was a bad guy, but they had already made plans to have the Olympics in Berlin, and they cleaned up their act for a few weeks for the Olympics, and Germany was a wonderful land of bliss, utopia, for 2 weeks. And it's the same thing. I don't even see it happening, so I don't even want to talk about it. It's a waste of time. I mean, Winter Olympics a year from now in China? Sure. Pratas Islands is a region of islands that's 400 kilometers from Taiwan, and China's going to make it into a little point of operations for whatever they want to do. And, as Schicklgruber did his blitzkrieg after he realized that nobody was going to do anything, he started encroaching on other places that they didn't want him there, and he started taking over Europe. But that's, next year. We won't worry about that. What's I going to say? Yeah, just other gray zone warfare tactics, cyber attacks, 1,000 a day or more on Taiwan, and incursions, and the fact that every time they fly over Taiwan, then Taiwan has to send their jets up, and they use all their resources to just keep these guys at bay. And of course, the Xi regime blames Taiwan for all this. Sounds like petri dish in a way. They're kind of the same in the way that they're both absolutely insane. And we'll get more into general stuff. People don't seem to want to realize that this Xi Jinping is going to be remembered 500 to 1,000 years from now. Whereas the names Biden, Pelosi, Schumer will be long, long, long forgotten. They will still be talking about how Xi Jinping pretty much almost destroyed the entire world because he's not all there. He couldn't be. It's not possible. And everyone should know why, and I've already said why. He's deep down in the core of his being, he hates the Communist Party. They destroyed his family. He's totally insane. He must be. He's got to be. So everybody should take that to heart when they realize that this guy isn't too concerned about, having an empire so much as just getting revenge. And he's doing a damn good job. Oh my God. If anybody got revenge the way he might do it, it's like, well, can't really find words to describe it, but he's, turning into a demigod in his country and ruling it just like Schicklgruber did. He's got that placid smile on his face, and I don't see how he... Well, another point I was going to make is that, you always think about China with their little hats and their knotted, pigtails and their chopsticks, and they're not. You look at China, and they're sophisticated. And I'm sure that Happiness has it all figured out where he has certain bomb shelters where he will live very nicely while the world is destroyed. And he will deny that he had anything to do with it, just like Schicklgruber. And it'll be much better than Schicklgruber's bomb shelter. It'll be really decked out. I mean, it's obvious they have those kind of facilities. Why wouldn't they? So he takes to ground and lets the world blow up due to his own, and if his own army blows up, then he chuckles. He chortles to himself. He thinks back to when he was 15 and goes, I got you guys, didn't I? So that's what's going to happen. So that's China. That's the China crisis in a nutshell. I could go on and talk about hoarding. 2 billion people hoarding food. That's good. I could talk about bodysuits that scare the crap out of me because Malaysia is not far from China. And Nipah is not far from us. And I worry about that. And I worry about variants, and I worry about China telling the truth. And I worry about whether a petri dish will be able to even establish any kind of connection with Xi Happiness, because Zoom is not the best platform in the world. And I think they'll spend most of their summit trying to figure out how to connect to each other. And once they do connect, they'll talk about the Olympics. I'm sure that Happiness is going to get on the Zoom call and say, oh yeah, we figured out where the COVID virus came from. Yeah, it came from our lab, and yeah, we accidentally let it loose, and we didn't do much about it for a few months because we were afraid of, panicking everybody, so we just kind of kept it secret, but I guess I'll let you know now that's what happened. Oh, and by the way, yeah, your buddy, Dr. Faustus, yeah, he was helping us. He used to come by once in a while and check out how things were doing, so he helped us to try to gain some function on that particular virus, because since we had it in the lab, we may as well figure out how to make it worse. So yeah, I'm sure happiness will be, owning up to Petri dish, and then it can all be blamed on Trump. What else will happen? Climate change. Okay. Happiness keeps building coal facilities. I think it's once every 10 days or so he builds a new one, and he wants to break them all down. Now that kind of fits in with his, psychology, his psychopathy, because he doesn't mind building things and then destroying them. I've saw it happen. They did it with the real estate thing. So, they build things and then destroy them, and then they build fake things and then destroy them. They build fake things shaped like battleships and destroy them, and then they give battleships away to different countries that are surrounding other countries and trying to, get a stranglehold on a region. You just give, here, have a battleship. Here you go, no charge. Enjoy it. Come on. I mean, giving away battleships and fake battleships and talking about climate change. Xi, happiness, is now very concerned with climate change. It's suddenly a foremost issue in his mind. And God only knows how he will come up with ways to alleviate climate change. Maybe he will just outlaw cars in China, just outlaw them. That should make the liberals happy over here in America until they see what the repercussions are of that, because there's bound to be. Or perhaps you could just turn off the water and use those dams to kind of stop the water from going to various places to stop the development of other countries, because they're causing too much CO2. So he has many options to help with the climate change. And I admire Petri Dish for having a Zoom call with him next week to hash out all these problems. They're going to really do well between the two of them. Maybe we can usher in a whole new era of goodwill with Zhongguo and trade with them again so that inflation can come down. Or maybe we could hire a bunch of Chinese laborers or slave laborers to come to the ports and unload those containers. So there's a lot of options, and I think I gave you a lot, and I could talk more, but I think I gave you the gist of the China crisis. And there's much worse things happening, but I don't see how it could be worse. But it will be. So enjoy the rest of the day, and shay, and ni hui fu zong. Goodbye.